Hey guys, welcome back to Wix Fix. I hope you're having a fantastic day. In today's video, I want to show you how to recreate Karlie Kloss's website inside of Wix. I wanted to create a series where we find really cool websites on the internet and redesign them inside of Wix or Editor X. For today's video, I wanted to do Karlie Kloss's website. If you don't know who she is, I think she's a really famous model in New York City. But one thing that's really cool to me is actually she has her website made in Wix. I also think that she's kind of sponsored by Wix, but regardless, I do think it's really cool. And for this series, I don't plan to just make websites that are already made in Wix, but I just wanted to start the series with this specific one. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and start with the header. So if we look at the header, it's kind of split into three different parts. There is a button over here to the left, a hamburger menu in the middle, and her logo over here to the left. Now, if you can notice, if you hover over it, the colors switch. So we'll need to make sure we do that as well. So the first thing I want to do is I just want to add a strip, okay? We're going to go ahead and make the height of the strip 80 pixels. And let's go ahead and remove the background color completely. Next, we're going to go into layout, add a column. Then we're going to go into manage columns and add a third column. Now we have space for the logo, for the hamburger menu, and the button. However, for this left column, we want to align it to the left. And for this right column, we want to align it to the right. Now, if we go into layout, what I want to do is I want enough space on the left and the right for all of the content. So I'm going to go ahead and set the left and right strip to 40% and just leave the middle one to 20. Okay. The first thing I want to do is just go ahead and do the logo. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is come over to boxes. I'm going to pull out a box. I'm going to set the width to 80 pixels and the height to 80 pixels. For the design, we want to just give it a black background. Great. Now let's go ahead and put it into the column and we'll align it all the way to the left. The next thing I want to do is add the logo in the little box right here, just like that. And we'll go ahead and link it to the home page. Great. Now I just want to copy and paste it. We'll attach it to the box, but for this one, we're going to choose the logo with the opposite colors. And we'll go ahead and send it to the back. That way the white one shows up first. But if we click on the box, press hover interactions, get started. Then when someone hovers over the box, then we want to hide the white logo, just like that. So now if we preview it, this is what we're going to see. Perfect. Now for the middle, we need the hamburger menu. So we're going to go to add, we're going to go to decorative, and under basic shapes, let's choose the option more basic shapes. And here I'm just going to type in lines and I'm going to find the best option, which I think this one right here looks closest to what she had. So we're just going to bring it down a little bit, something like that. And we're just going to attach it to the middle column and we'll center it up just like that. Okay, the last thing we need in the header is a button. For the button text, we're going to change it to code with Klossy. And she had a little greater than sign just like that. But for this button style, for the border, we kind of want to set it to 2 pixels. And for the text, we want it to set it to Avenir. Great. Now let's go ahead and stick it to the right column. We're going to align it to the middle, but also to the right. Now with our shift and left arrow key, let's go ahead and move it over 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's going to give us 80 pixels over here on the left. And basically what that did was add 80 pixels over here to the right of the button, which you're going to see why we did that in just a second. But now let's go ahead and move this strip up into the header, just like that. We'll click the header and remove the extra space. Great. Now let's go ahead and go back over to her current website and let's take a look at the hero section. So we have a giant strip here with a background image. You can see whoever made this, they brought in the strip 80 pixels here and 80 pixels here. So you can see why we moved the button 80 pixels. And you can see that the 80 pixels that we made the black box is also aligning perfectly with the hero image. So we'll be doing that as well. And if we take a look at the content inside the hero section, we have a black version of her logo and followed by the rest of her name. There is a thin line underneath it and a little subtitle for what she does. And last but not least, over here on the right, she has a social bar that will follow you down the page. So we'll also go ahead and add that here as well. So let's go ahead and go back to our editor. We're going to add a new strip. Let's go ahead and make this one 800 pixels. Let's go ahead and add a background image, which is going to be her image right here. And let's go ahead and press this little stretched icon and type in 80 pixels of margin, just like that. Great. Now you can start to see it's coming together. But before we're done with the actual image, let's go ahead and add a background scroll effect of parallax. Let's go ahead and add the black logo of her image right here. We'll go ahead and add some text. And we'll go ahead and just type out the rest of her name minus the first K. We'll go ahead and set the styling of the button to Avenir. We'll give it some character spacing, and we'll go ahead and align it with the K, just right there, just like that. And we'll go ahead and group these together, just so they're easy to move. Next, let's go to decorative, and we'll pull out this line. We'll give it a width of 800 pixels, and we'll just center it up on the page, just like that. Next, let's grab this group that we just created, and we'll set it right on the line. And now it's a little hard to see, but we want the same amount of space over here on the left and the right. If you want to be really precise, what you could do is just pull out a little box, stick it right against the image, and pull it out so it connects to the last bit of the line. Then you can pull it over here, connect it to the S, and you can just drag out the line just so it matches. Great. So now we can just center up the line and it should look fine. Great. So now we just need a little subtext. So we're just going to drag out some text, and I'm honestly just going to copy what she wrote here, just like that. And we'll center it up and make sure that the font is correct. And we'll lower the font to maybe like 20 pixels. Great. Now with all these selected and grouped, I'm just gonna move it down just a little bit. And now I want to add the social bar that was over here on the left or the right. So I'm gonna come up to add, go to social, and drag out the social bar. Great. Now I'm just going to press vertical, just like that. I'm going to set the social links. I'm going to remove 2 of them because she only had 4 on her website. And I'm going to go ahead and make these quite a bit smaller, maybe like 25. And I'm going to add quite a bit more spacing. She had a lot of spacing on her website. We're going to bring it over here to the right, just toolbars in the way. And then we are going to right click it and say pin to screen. Now it's going to pin it to the top right, but let's just go ahead and do the middle. And we want it to be around 25 pixels. And the vertical offset, let's go ahead and raise it up to right about there. Great. Now it's starting to look really, really good. If we take a look at her website, we can see that the next section underneath that is going to be a little biography and a little button to read more. So let's go ahead and add a new section or a new strip. We'll go ahead and set this one to 800 pixels, and we'll go ahead and remove the background color completely. Now for this one, I want to go into the stretched icon and give it 60 pixels of margin. And I also want to come into the layout and align it to the left. Now, what I'm going to come over here and do is just add some text, and I'm going to align it to the left. Now you can notice that I only gave this section or the strip 60 pixels of margin, and that's because we want to move this text 20 pixels away from the edge, because if it's right against the edge on tablet or smaller breakpoints on desktop, it's going to look closer to something like this, which you don't really want your text right up against the screen. So what we're going to do is just line it up with the edge of this hero image. And I'm going to go ahead and stretch this text element out, and I'm just going to copy the text from our website and paste it in here. And just like before, we want to make sure that the font is the same, and we'll go ahead and stretch it out just a little bit more, like that. And then on her website, she also had a little read more. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and add some text. We'll set this to Avenir, and we'll just say read more. We'll make it quite a bit smaller, and we'll just add an underline. Now, if this was an actual website that you're building, you probably want to link this read more to something else, but we're not going to be doing that today. But we'll just stick it right under the text, just like that. And now let's just fix the spacing just a little bit more. Awesome. It's starting to look really good. The next section she has is just a slideshow for her latest updates. So let's go ahead and add that strip. Let's go ahead and make this one like 900 pixels for now, and we'll remove the background. Let's go ahead and add a title text, and we'll call it latest updates. And of course you want to make sure it's the correct font. And now we can go ahead and add a slideshow. So if we go to add interactive, we can pull out a box slideshow just like this and stick it right there. Now, obviously I do not want anything in this slideshow because I'm going to design it myself. We're going to change the image opacity to 0 and the color opacity to 0 as well. We'll go ahead and bring the slideshow box down a little bit to make room for our image. So I'm just going to put this image in here just like that. We'll go ahead and make it quite a bit larger and make sure it's centered. Then we're going to add some text right here. And this text is going to say Project Runway. And I'm just going to copy and paste this read more button and put it right here. Now I'm going to bring up the slideshow box just a little bit like that. And I'm going to bring the strip down to give it a little bit more breathing room and space. And I think that looks really good. Now, something that I don't really like is I don't like how this image doesn't line up with this text. So I'm just going to make sure that they are aligned just like that. Great. Now we can move on to the next section, which is going to be this one right here, where she's kind of promoting her previous projects. She's promoting her coding class business, and she also has a call to action to follow her on social media, along with another image. So let's go ahead and start building this section. The first thing we want to do is just add another strip. Just like always, we want to remove the background color completely. And we're going to go ahead and set this to 800 pixels. Now for this one, we want to add 3 columns. And then under layout, we're going to go ahead and set this one to 10% right here and 60% on the left. Okay. And for this second column right here, let's go ahead and change the background image. We'll choose this one right here, and we'll go ahead and add some parallax. Great. If we take a look on her website, if we hover over this section right here, we're going to see that projects and campaigns, when you hover over it, there is a line that appears underneath it. And you'll also notice that the period right here is pink. So let's go ahead and add that. First thing we want to do is add a box. Now, of course, in this box, we want to make sure that there is no fill, and then we want to add some text. So for this text, it's going to be projects and campaigns with a period. In this period, we of course want to make sure that it's the pink. And with all the text, we want to make sure that it is our font. Great. Now let's select the box and we'll select hover interactions. And the only thing we need to do here is add a decorative line under campaigns. Now for the design of this line, let's go ahead and set it to 5 pixel width. And if we preview the website, this is what we should see. Just like that. Now she has another section over here for her coding class. So let's go ahead and build that. We're going to add a new section. Let's go ahead and set this one to 600 pixels and we'll go ahead and remove the background. Next, let's go ahead and add a column, and for the layout, let's go ahead and make it 45-55, just like that. For this column number 1, let's go ahead and add an image, just like that. And let's just go ahead and copy this box and we'll move it down into the column 1 right here. Great. And we want this one to say Code with Kloss, with a period at the end, and of course the period needs to be pink. Okay. Next, let's go ahead and check the hover and make sure that the line is underneath the word and matches the same width, just like that. And then the last thing we need to do is just bring this section up a little bit, just like that. Great. Now if we preview the site, we can see that we can scroll down and it looks really nice. We still need to add parallax to this column. But another thing I want to notice is we can't really hover over this box right here because this strip with this column is actually over this strip or over this box. So let's just go ahead and grab this strip and we're going to align it to the back. Now we'll be able to hover over this box perfectly fine. And the last thing we need to do is just add parallax to this column. Great. Now, if we take a look at her website, she has another call to action for people to follow her on social media. So let's go ahead and do that right now. We'll just add a strip. We'll make the height 600 pixels and we'll remove the background. And just like we did with this one up here, let's go ahead and add a column. And in this right column, we're just going to add an image. And we'll make sure to add parallax on it. And just like before, let's just go ahead and copy and paste this box in here. We'll bring it over here to this column. For this column, I kind of want to align it to the left, just like that. And we want the text to say, follow me. We'll make sure the period is pink, and we'll also check the line on hover. And the last thing that's actually paid on the page itself, that's not in the footer, is going to be this image. So let's go ahead and add another strip. We'll make this one 800 pixels. We'll remove the background and we're going to add a column. Now for this column, I do want to set it to 45-55. And I also want to press the stretched icon and make sure that there is 80 pixels of margin. So as you can see, that brought in the strip for us. So now when I add the background image with the parallax, this is what we're going to see. And let's just go ahead and bring this up quite a bit. It's right about here. Now I do think that this is too wide. So I'm going to click the strip again, go into layouts, and I'm going to bring this in just a little bit more. Great. Now, if you notice here, we're gonna have the same issue because this column is above this column with the link. So let's go ahead and grab this strip and we'll send it to the back. Now we can actually select this strip with no problem. The last thing I wanted to add to the page is just a quick little spacing strip. We'll just remove the background color and we'll set the height to 150 pixels. Okay. The last thing we have to do is the footer. Now for this one, I'm just going to set to 350 pixels and I'm going to set the color to straight black. If we take a look at her footer, all she really has is a little call to action to subscribe to her newsletter and a little submit form for people to subscribe to it. So let's go ahead and do that. We just want to add some text. Of course, we want to make this white and we want to make sure that's set to Avenir. And we're also going to make sure it's aligned to the center, both in the element and on the page. Okay. Now let's add her call to action. And we'll make sure that the period is pink. And we'll also make sure that this one is quite a bit bigger. So let's do like 50. And let's go ahead and make this one quite a bit smaller, maybe like 24. And the only thing left to do is just go ahead and add a form for people to subscribe to, which for this one, I'm just going to add this one right here. And basically, I'm just going to remove the background color from the form. And I'm going to go ahead and change all of the blue tint to white, pink, or black. Alrighty, and basically we have created the Karlie Kloss website again in Wix. If you guys would like to see me do this series again with another website and you have one in mind, please be sure to leave that in the comments below. But that basically wraps it up for the video today, guys. If you guys did enjoy, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel for more Wix content coming out really soon. If you guys liked this series idea and you want me to do more websites, be sure to let me know in the comments below and let me know if you have any other recommendations. Thank you all again, and I'll see you all in the next one.